Boy, I'm going to get to that in a second here, Dan. Let me show you the problem here. Look at all these cones around here. As you can see, though, Fletcher right here, the westbound traffic, that's going fine. Eastbound, though, coming from 275, not going anywhere. They have the ramp coming off 275 closed, so no one can drive through this area. Southbound here on Nebraska, that is being stopped as well right here at Fletcher. Northbound is going through. Problem comes down to this right here. This is where the sinkhole is. And if you remember, like you were talking about, Dan, they filled this in yesterday and things were fine, but look what's happened. It's probably dropped a foot and a half since 3 o'clock when they opened it, and you can actually see where tires rolled over this. They opened it because, according to DOT, there was a couple of consultants out here yesterday, and they thought, it's going to be fine. But as people drove over this area, sheriff's office started going, wait a minute, that doesn't look good. We better shut this down again, and that's what they've done. So how are they going to fix this? Dan, that was your question, and this is where I get to play Bill Nye the Science Guy here, so I'm pretty excited about this. This is how a sinkhole forms, and this is anywhere in Florida. Right up on top, you have a layer of topsoil. If you're lucky, it's probably sand. Underneath that, you have clay or a mixture of clay and sand. Then underneath that, all this here is limestone. What happens when water passes through limestone is it opens up big caves. Now, usually this cave is supported by the water, but what happens when the water drops? Well, you got all this empty space, and you have that empty space there in the cavern to begin with because limestone's very chalky. It's kind of like when water passes through it, it's kind of like Alka-Seltzer. It just kind of eats away at it, but not as fast. So when you have the water level drop and you get this big open space, you have all this weight on top of it and nothing supporting it. So when you get a lot of rain, this kind of doubles in weight, triples in weight. You have all this weight sitting on top of an empty space, and it just caves into it. So what do? You have to fill that space. They can either do it with this thing called flowable fill, which is a mixture of water, cement, and ash, or you can use what's called like a compaction grout. And that's kind of like a mortar, kind of something like you would use at your house. And the idea is to fill in all that empty space there, give it some more support so it supports everything on top of that. And that's what they're planning to do later today. When is that going to happen? We're not sure, but they're working on it. Back to you guys.